Let's talk to Vincent. What's up, Vincent? You're talking to Richard Dawkins.
Hi, how are you? First of all, Penn, great show.
Thanks.
It's great that there's actually a forum where these ideas can be openly discussed. Mr. Dawkins, basically my opinion, or my question is, what do you think the world would be like during that transitionary period where you say earlier that science will shatter us with awe? Once the world is shattered, what do you think the transition period will be like? When I have conversations with people, they throw these ideas that basically we're going to fall into chaos and people are going to kill each other for no reason. What is your thought on that?
It's the most extraordinary idea, isn't it? That the moment God's off the scene, people are going to start killing each other and raping each other and things. I actually spoke to, I was on another radio show. It was actually Fox News Radio.
Mm-hmm. Sorry about that.
And somebody phoned in and literally said that if he didn't believe in God, he would start killing people. And the compere of the show, I've forgotten his name, Alan Colmes, something like that. Actually started pinning him down. You mean you really would? He said, yes, I would. Who would you kill? I'd kill my neighbor, he said. He actually thought that if it wasn't for religion, we'd all go around killing each other. I mean, that is an appalling indictment of religious people. Of course, they're not mostly like that, but anybody who seriously thinks that if it wasn't for the fear of God, they would go about killing and raping and stealing. I mean, that is not the kind of person I would ever want to know, and nor would anybody else. And I don't really believe there are many people like that.
It's also interesting that those who are atheists already, we've run this experiment, those of us who are atheists do not have, I mean, there's many arguments that we have much lower crime statistics, but I have not seen one article anywhere, one even pseudo-scientific study that says that atheists have a higher crime rate than the general population.
No, indeed, there was a lovely study that was done in a psychological study where somebody tested students who were atheists or religious in various degrees of religiosity, and the form of the experiment was that they were given an opportunity to cheat in exams. They didn't know that they were being watched, but they were given an exam, and in fact they were given an opportunity to cheat, and they didn't realize that they were being watched. The only group who did not cheat in the exam statistically were the atheists. And all the religious groups did cheat, but it was suggested that the only reason the atheists didn't cheat was that they were so smart they could pass the exam easily without bothering to
but what you haven't factored into this, Richard, is the fact that all the people who are religious are screaming and immoral and just ready to pop, and the only thing that's protecting the atheists is the fact that they have this misconception. And there are a lot of atheists, not a lot, but there's a few atheists I've talked to that seem to believe that. The atheists that, there's always the argument that, perhaps the Pope is an atheist, but just believes that that's the way you can control people. Yeah. That's so cynical to me, but there are atheists that have said to me, a couple of friends of mine who are Israelis, that just say, oh, no, none of us believe in any of this, but the smart people have to push religion so that they aren't destroyed by the stupid people.
Well, I have heard people say that. It's a very cynical view. I hope they're not right.
Yes, I'm afraid that my optimism about the human race doesn't even allow me to consider that. I hate to get hard evidence on that. Let's talk again. We're coming very near the end, Richard. I want to just say again, your book, The God Delusion, by Richard Dawkins, is available, I believe, everywhere, right?
Yes.
There's no place you can't buy that. And give your website again so that people can go. A lot of people that heard this show are going to want to find out everything about you. It's
richarddawkins.net. So that's all one word, Richard Dawkins, with no dots in the middle, and then .net. And that's got a lot of stuff on it. It's a lot about the book, a lot about how it's going. It's got a traveling journal by me as I go around the country. I update it. There's a forum for people to write in. All the book reviews, all the reviews of The God Delusion, many of which are pretty horrible, by the way.
And are there any places that you're speaking that aren't sold out? That someone listening.
To be sold out. I've had the most wonderful time. I mean, even in places you might not expect, like Kansas and Lynchburg, Virginia, where I was a couple of nights ago. These are places. I mean, Lynchburg, Virginia, is the stronghold of the infamous Jerry Falwell, and I got absolutely packed house, and there were some people there who come from Jerry Falwell's Liberty so-called university. And they lined up in front of the microphone. And we had a very long, about an hour and a half of Q&A, and these people from Liberty University lined up, and one after the other came up and tried to sort of make points. And as I disposed of each of them, there was a great cheer from the audience. It was wonderful. I mean, they were just cheering.
When we used to tour, when we play places that were in the so-called Bible Belt,
yes.
Anything we did that was slightly skeptical get huge cheers.
Exactly. I mean, I get the feeling, and I didn't know this, but I'm starting to learn, that throughout the so-called Bible Belt, there's an enormous upwelling of feeling. There are people who have been suppressed all their lives, and now they're so grateful, it seems. I mean, I've no illusions. I'm not very eloquent or anything like that, but they're incredibly grateful because I'm saying things which they've wanted to say all their lives and frankly haven't dared. And so I get these cheers from people. It's a kind of letting off of steam, I suspect.
We find that all the time, that people are just saying, it's so glad someone has started saying this. Our guest today was Dr. Richard Dawkins. Go to richarddawkins.net. Buy everything he puts out. If this book doesn't change the world, we're all doomed. Thank you so much, Richard. You know I love you.
Thank you very, very much.